And good evening, everybody. Welcome to an all-new episode of Holotheatre. As always, I am Dan Tartaglione, also known as D Tartag1. Uh, Joining me tonight, as you can see, we have two co-hosts to start off with. The first one being Mr. James Martin, wearing is that the Din
That's the
Djarin?
Dinjarin from last year's donations. Yep.
Oh, nice. So, James celebrating Star Wars Day with the Din Djarin shirt. And then we have the member of the Jawa Council, Darth Corin. I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit about the Jawa Ban List, hence why Kendall is on today.
Yes, I am here in the Jawa Council chambers. We have been sequestered for the last 6 months, deliberating on the ban list, and we are ready to share that today.
Well, I'm excited to see that. Maybe we'll get some of those painful cards out of here. Like, I don't know, what's a painful card? I don't know.
Jawa Siesta.
Spoiler alert. Aura Singh's blaster rifle will not be banned.
So that's a good thing for Tom. I know we'll talk a little bit more about Tom as well. But then our guest today, though, is Mr. 97 and a half himself, Matt Carulli. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good. I'm very happy to be here. I just want to get this out of the way first and say that it is a shame that for all my years of service, the one thing that gets me into Holotheatre is 97.5 battle damage that was gicked away in a game that I lost. But nonetheless, I am very happy to be here.
Well, to be fair, though, you have been on Holotheatre before.
I have.
We talked a little bit about the fact that you were an advocate and to figure out what exactly the Special Projects and Technology Advocate does.
Well, it's just the technology advocate now.
Okay. So no more spat.
It is no more this. It's no longer the spam.
Spam.
It used to be multimedia and special projects, but some people like to call it special projects and multimedia because then it became spam.
Well, I mean, if you think about it the other way, it could be maps.
It could be maps.
But
MASP.
Yeah.
MASP.
MASP. Okay, but
Damn.
First off, let's talk to Kendall about this Jawa ban list. So we've had the current ban list for quite some time now. How long was it since the last time since you guys updated the ban list?
I should know this.
You should.
It would have been before the Jawa Cup, so it would have been after Worlds.
Okay. So you updated it, yeah, because I remember the last one included like Y4 Ops after everybody, after like Barry Albertson made a top 4 with Y4 Ops. Like Barry making a top 4, if that happens, then the deck is stupid. I mean, I can see that, but no. So it's been since at least 7 months now.
October 19th, 2021, according to the post here.
Yeah, it's
It's
been a while.
CCT map, Bring Him Before Me, ISB Operations, which doesn't see much play, Shadow Collective, and then Master Qui-Gon, Master Yoda, like my father, Yavin 4 Ops, old allies. So that's what we've been dealing with in the Jawa format for quite some time.
So I think it is about time for a change, and obviously the Jawa Council and its vaulted members of Kendall and who else is on the council?
It is me, Mr. Taco Bill Kafer, and Eric Hunter. We were the three that originally organized the original Jawa Cup, and we seized power from there.
Was it a peaceful transition to power?
Yes,
Okay.
we are all about peace.
Is it pretty even distribution of opinion here, or is there one ruthless tyrant amongst the folks? Or is it all secretive?
Well, it is a bit secretive. Let's say
Let's
all
do real.
Jawas.
Kendall,
all
you gave
Jawas
a
are
really
equal.
good Palpatine laugh whenever I first got on the call earlier. I think
All
we all know.
Jawas are equal, but some Jawas are more equal than others. Let's just say that.
Wow. I don't know what to say there. But I think it's time we get to the ban list. You want to do light side or dark side first, Jared?
I'll do. Who?
Jared?
Did you just call me
Jared.
Jerry?
I said Jared. Jared was the most recent post in the chat. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Kendall. Kendall.
I will do dark side first because dark side is the one that I have.
Always goes first unless TRM's there. Yeah.
Well, maybe the Jawa Council decided to ban TRM. I don't see it, considering one of their members likes to play Throne Room mains, but maybe
look, my preferences have nothing to do with what is for the better for the format. We've banned both Throne Room and Court a number of times.
True.
In the past.
True.
So the new ban list for Dark Side is going to be Carbon Chamber Testing, Holotheatre Ops Virtual, Shadow Collective, Bring Them Before Me, I Want That Map, and Slip Sliding Away Virtual.
Okay. So there are some cards that have kept over from the last ban list. Bring It Before Me, CCT, and Map were on there last time. I think ROPS, Shadow Collective, and Slip Sliding Away are the ones that were essentially first from this one. So what made you guys go with Shadow Collective, for instance? Because like we just saw a errata to Slip Sliding Away that essentially it hurt Shadow Collective a lot. Like, why did you guys go with Shadow Collective?
So with this ban list, I'm gonna paraphrase something that Taco Bill said in our Slack, that he kind of was the he was the most eloquent with what we're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal with the original Jawa Cup, and I think a lot of times with Jawa ban lists, it ends up that we update it in a stale meta. So
okay.
Changes haven't happened. This is obviously not a stale meta, so we're not just going to do the 5 most popular decks because whatever. We want to ban the decks that we're tired of, regardless of power level. And I think no matter where you think Shadow Collective falls on the power curve, for the last 6 months we've seen a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And why ban Shadow Collective and Bring Them Before Me, and also Slip Sliding Away?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because we don't want this is not a situation like back a long time ago when we banned Scum but left Court and Carbon Chamber Testing. We want those decks that we've been seeing over and over again in Open, because you can still play those decks in Open. That's fine. We want those. We want people to. It's not even about like what we don't want people to play. I mean, we don't want them to play those decks. Mm-hmm. It's also kind of about what we want people to play. We want people to play Invasion. We want people to play Hunt Down. We want people to play ASM. We just and frankly, we want to see what this Revenge of the Sith Dooku deck. Because that's definitely something that is going to be powerful in the format. Was powerful in PC 20, and it was like, well, do we mess with that? But it's like no, we that's a new thing. I support having a new thing.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, it'll be dominant for a little while and then we'll fix it. Whatever, who cares? But mostly, yeah, we don't want people. Every time I load up a light side game, for the last 6 months, it's been Bring Them Before Me, ROPS, or Shadow Collective. So we want not that.
Okay. So let's talk about the light side really quick, and then we can go in and talk a little bit more about the Jawa. I know there's going to be some people in the chat who probably have some questions or anything. We'll let you guys know about those. But let's go ahead and talk about the light side really quick. So
for light side, our ban list is going to be Master Yoda, Master Qui-Gon. This next one I'm really excited about. Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight.
Ooh.
Wow.
And then This Galaxy May Need a Legend, No Idea, Old Allies, and Let the Wookiee Win Virtual.
Wow. So right off the bat, you just made an enemy. Like you, Bill, and Eric Hunter have all made an enemy with Chris Kelly. How does that feel?
I don't know if he was joking, but he actually did request that we ban Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight.
I don't see that ever happening.
I think he was tired of some of the of like, you know, of us hitting like hit co specifically, or like my father before me, like he wanted. So, and you know what, I mean, honestly, I'm tired of Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. Even though he's only seen a little bit of play recently. I think he's been a slight uptick with the Skywalkers, you know, the Skywalker objective. But I've been losing to Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight for 20 years. Let's take a break from him.
Well,
I'm just really excited. I mean, the only complaints that I've ever gotten from casual players about the Jawa format are when they run up against somebody who's playing a deck that's got a bunch of Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights in it.
mm-hmm.
You know, even like Timo was playing, I think three LSJKs in his Rebel Strike Team deck.
Yeah.
But he was tracking really well, so it seemed to these players that he was playing like 6 copies. And I mean, Jawa is not necessarily. I mean, it's not necessarily specifically a format for casuals. You know, this is not. We're not trying to make Commander. You know, it's not about playing bad decks. It's about, you know, elevating and clearing the way for certain things. But also, I'm tired of Luke Skywalker. And for some reason, Emperor Palpatine, not so much. I mean, I think we just haven't seen those Emperor Palpatine decks that much. But Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, he's a jerk.
So just so you know, Chris Kelly is in the chat. As soon as you said that, the first reaction was such a Sheev move to ban Luke.
I love the maniacal laugh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Also, Kendall, just so you know, Chris Kelly also said, Kendall, everyone playing new stuff. Also, Kendall, LSJK hasn't been playable in a while. It would only be playable in the new stuff.
I'm still tired of it.
That's fair. I mean, you are a fan of Court, so I can understand that.
Well, just in general, I really like. You know, there's other cards that I like, and
no, you're good.
There's plenty of good Lukes out there. I even think Rebel Scout might even be better in some regards. So, but yeah, lots of good options.
But drawing a 6 for Destiny is really good. It's only the second to drawing a 9.
Yeah, well, you know, I like taking Luke in the hand and then drawing 6 for the next Destiny. That's pretty nice too.
Yeah. But no, I mean, so again, we had a few holdovers from the last one. Old allies, both the Qui-Gon and the Yoda variants of communing. Interesting to see Let the Wookiee win on there, as that was a popular mains platform. Like, I know a lot of people play Let the Wookiee win as the only reliable mains platform. But
I'll tell you, there's some people who play Wookiees that wanted to play it in Jawa that would be pretty angry about that one, actually.
They can, if they want to play Wookiees, they can do CPV or something.
I mean, that's understandable, but
I don't know what Wookiees looks like.
I mean, that's fair, but yeah, like you took away a variant of Wookiees, which seemed fun.
I mean, there's going to be
fairness.
Look,
in fairness, people were not using that interrupt for
Wookiees.
There's going to be collateral damage.
There's going to be collateral damage. Like anytime you ban something, you're gonna. But Let the Wookiee win definitely was like one of the. Again, it was one of the fundamental things from a light side deck that you know, that people were playing. And yeah, I'm excited for this list. You know, clearing the way for EBO, for There's Good in Him. I mean, WAP and Watch Your Step both got a lot of and QMC. All 3 of those were very popular in the PC20 event, and they're, you know,
there's like 3 or 4
banned, they're wide open.
Like, is this ban list supposed to hold through the Jawa Brawl, out of curiosity?
Yes. Okay. The plan is, I don't think we have a specific date for that, but yeah, the plan is, this will be the ban list for the Jawa Brawl, unless, you know, it's not.
Okay. I gotta make some new decks. I'll tell you that. So it'll, I'll be putting some new ones together.
Yeah, we don't have an event that we're announcing with this, but except for the Pittsburgh League event, June 11th. Everybody come out to Pittsburgh on June 11th for the league event, and that'll be fun. I think it's supposed to be Jawa.
It is. It's supposed to be. It's up to Sean. Sean is our lead organizer, but sounds like it's going to be Jawa, which
Well,
pretty
the
exciting.
nice thing is you can bring a Jawa deck to an open event, and it's still legal. So,
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to play all those other decks, just play open. Like it's not like Jawa's the format for nationals or anything
yet.
yet.
Getting there.
I don't know. The fact that I don't know. A lot of people like the Jawa format. So.
They do.
Yep.
I mean, it's a nice little refresh on like the current meta and everything. Like, I like how you guys didn't touch a lot of the newer stuff, like you said, with the Revenge of the Sith, the Skywalker Saga. Watch Your Step, I thought would have been a deck that it's seen a lot of play recently, not such in like just the PC20 event, but I've seen a lot of people play it on just open on GEMP. Yeah. But I'm glad that you guys didn't get that one, especially because that new effect is really good. But
I think people are still trying to figure that out, so it's good that they'll be able to play that in Jawa too to give it some more reps to bring it to whatever tournament they need.
Yeah, I mean the other thing about leaving it open for the new cards is people can then build decks with those new cards without having to worry about the top level decks. A lot of the problem that Lightside has had for the last 6 months or a year or 20 years or however long is that it's like Lightside can answer this deck, Lightside can answer Shadow Collective, but if they have cards in there for Shadow Collective, then they don't have room for cards for ROPS, or they have Shadow Collective and ROPS covered, but they don't have Bring It Before Me covered. So being able to kind of build a little bit of a more pure version of these decks just at their base power level, as opposed to having to try to metagame for all of the most powerful things, leaves open some room for experimentation with the new stuff. And again, if it comes out as the format is completely busted, then we'll reconvene for another 6 months in the chambers here, and we'll get some whatever Jawas eat. I don't know.
Arby's.
Okay.
We'll reconvene in the Jawa Council. We'll sacrifice another goat. We'll eat some Arby's.
What about the crate dragon eggs, right? You eat crate dragon eggs.
Yeah, that's right. It is the eggs, yeah.
Oh,
Some kind of crate dragon egg.
Okay.
It's whatever that creature is.
Okay,
Yes,
before we get into
you know what? Best episode of The Mandalorian.
I don't want to think about that right now. I think that's good for now. But thank you, Kendall, for coming on to talk about the ban list and everything.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Thanks,
sure thing. Anytime. We'll see you around. If you guys do have feedback on it, feel free to reach out. It's fine. It's not like this is like a play testing version of the list or anything. But I mean, it doesn't mean that we're not paying attention if we accidentally broke the game. So have a good one.
Okay, thank you. Take care. Okay, so after that whole bombshell that Kendall just dropped on us with those ban lists and everything, let's talk a little bit about Matt Carulli. So again, for those who don't know, he was the technology advocate. He retired last year, and now our good buddy Adam Fletcher, Siri, is currently our current technology advocate. But yeah, Matt, you've had a pretty good Star Wars CCG career, not only as an advocate but as a player as well. So
yeah, my playing career has been it's been fun. Let's just put it at that. I don't have many trophies on the wall behind me. Let's put it that way.
Well, no, I mean, you don't have you might not have a trophy wall, but you have an art wall, so that's understandable. But so let's get back. So when did you start playing Star Wars?
I started around 97, somewhere around there. It was somewhere in Dagobah or Cloud City. Just got a couple packs of Dagobah for my birthday. And I don't remember my first rare, but I remember pulling a TIE Avenger from the pack. And I just have loved the TIE Avenger since then. Because, I think if we go back to when we were kids and you open these packs and then you're thinking, you didn't really know what you were getting into. And you didn't realize how deep the Star Wars universe was all the time. And so, I open a TIE Avenger and I'm like, I've never seen this before. And it, talks about the TIE Avenger and all this other stuff. And I was just, kind of hooked on it from then. And I still have I keep a TIE Avenger. I think I might have one in my drawer right now, actually. I don't know what it is, but I love the TIE Avenger. That was about when I started. My brother and I have always shared a collection since we were kids, since when you're a kid, you can't afford too much. So the cool thing was we would go to locals here in Pittsburgh all the time, whenever we could. And since we had a very limited collection, we would have to rotate. Like one tournament, he would get to choose his decks, and then the next tournament, I would choose.
That's
And
fair.
You're lucky. My brother would just take all my good stuff. So.
Were you the younger brother?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm the younger brother too, and I didn't let him push me around.
Good.
But the funny part about that was that even though we let one person pick both sides, we just wanted like the best chance for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every single time, whoever had second choice did better in the tournament, almost without fail. So
that's fitting.
Don't put too much stock into always playing the best cards and the best decks.
Yeah, it comes down to play level and everything. And recently, like over those years and everything, you've been a part of the Pittsburgh leagues for a while and everything. I know you've been playing in the locals for a while. That's how obviously we've met. But I know that back in 2019, you went to the European Worlds. Was that your first time over in Europe for a Star Wars event?
For a Star Wars event, yes. I've been to Europe many times before that. And I think it's been said a lot, like pretty much everyone that's ever gone to Euro Worlds or Euros, is that every American, or even European if you haven't, I can't imagine if you're a European player who have been, just everyone needs to go. It is just the time of your life. The people, the atmosphere, everything is just, I mean, everyone says this. So like I can't say anything else that hasn't been said already. It is literally the best place to go play Star Wars cards. Mm-hmm. And you might think like, I don't want to spend all that money on a vacation and just go play Star Wars cards and I could play that at home or whatever. But like, just go meet the people. You will not regret it. I promise. And it was such a blast. We had such a great time.
I think Kevin Yap was one of the better Holotheatre episodes in recent memory with Dan. They were just spitballing.
Yeah, they're all just awesome people, and they are really down to earth. And like one of my favorite things about being there was that one of the players, Rasmus, who everyone knows is the Gungan player, he did his thing before every single game where he would scream "steady, steady," and then everyone would start playing that game. And it's just like there's like this little stuff like that, and it's just such a cool atmosphere to be in. You're in like this little gaming bar, and everyone's drinking beer, and they've got great food, and the servers are super nice, even though there's like 70 sloppy drunk people playing cards. It's just an awesome time. Everyone's got to do it. If you haven't done it, they're doing it again this year, I think, for the first time since COVID. If you can't do it this year, they hopefully we'll be back at it every September or so.
And I know next year is Worlds is going to be over in Europe as well. I know a lot of the Americans are starting to look at that and saving the date essentially. Are you looking for that as well?
I haven't thought about it, but yeah, I mean, I would totally do it again. And especially now that I know a lot of the people, I know the city there now, in Bochum. It's like, I would totally do it again for sure.
So let's look back at that 2019. You had a nice little run in that event. Is that correct?
I did. It was a little heartbreaking.
I was going to say, so you went into the event. What did you play during the event?
So I played ASM Destroyer Droids.
Okay.
And then for light, I played a Legend version. It was kind of, I don't know how popular Legend was back then. I don't think it was super popular, but the way I played my Legend was more about Force Choke and battling, of course, because everyone knows that I love battling. Mm-hmm. So I started like a battle plan, draw their fire. I had a ton of stuff that would make them use Force or redraw Destiny. So I had like Gold Leader and Gold 1 to make them pay. I had Jedi Mind Trick to make them pay to initiate. I had Wars Not Make One Great, so they have to pay one to battle or drain. And so you do all this stuff. And then the cool part about it was that you get to a point where if they're at like 10 to 15 life force, it is almost impossible for them to draw Battle Destiny, because of all the stuff that you can play to make them redraw, to make them pay extra for things. They always have to account for all these different answers you could have in your hand. It was just such a cool deck. If you want to check it out, it was the 2019 Worlds, my light side deck. I got 9th place. It's just a really fun deck. I miss that deck a lot. It's not quite as good as it used to be, just with the meta and all, but it was just so much fun, like all the weird stuff that you could do. And I think they actually changed a lot of the redraw stuff on the objective. And there's some anti-redraw cards now, so that I'd like to think maybe that was a part of it.
So you said you made 9th place. Now, if I remember correctly, you had to face, you went into a playing game. So not only did you play 8 games of regular Star Wars, but you had to play a playing game to make the top 8.
Yeah. So my last game of the day, I was 6-1, and I went against Hayes. and I was just so exhausted, and I'm sure Hayes was too. And I just made a few mistakes that game, a few misjudgments, and I lost that game. Both of us knew whoever won didn't have to play the playing game, so it was like a pretty important game. And he won that game. He advanced. I had to play a play-in, and of course my play-in matchup was against Emil. And just obviously,
that's rough.
Amazing player like that. When you're tired after 8 games, and that's just such a hard draw. And I actually had a good matchup. I was playing with my destroyer droids because I believe the way they had it work was the higher seed could choose which side to play. And Emil chose light side. I had my destroyer droids. He had old allies, which was a matchup I was really comfortable with. Where with the destroyer droids, you just the very first turn of the game, you go wide and you put out search and destroy, and you immediately start putting pressure on them because they can't come and battle one of your droids on first turn. So you do that and you kind of consolidate a little bit. You flip as soon as you can, and you just continue to put pressure on them and just win the battle of attrition, where you battle them and clear their characters, and battle them and clear their characters. And it was probably like, I don't know, 5th or 6th turn, I was exhausted, had a brain fart, and I forgot to move a droid, and I didn't have a gig for it. So that was all she wrote, and that was it.
Yeah, I find it funny that it's almost been 3 years later, and you still remember that match.
I honestly don't remember too many games. There are some people that will remember all of their games. I am not one of those people, but I do remember that game very much.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, you got 9th place, but I mean, that's not a bad showing, especially in a field like that where a lot of good players made the top 8. Like, I don't think anybody who made the top 8 or even like made the 10th or 11th or 12th seed was a bad player.
No, it was very fierce competition there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually 3. 4 world champions in the top 8 there.
Well, I mean, Joe was in the top 8, but he hadn't won a world champion.
I'll count him, but yes.
That's fair.
And then Mishki, Hayes Hunter, Baroni, and Stephen DeVos rounding out the others that don't have one just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad because, like, I don't, going back to that game, like the finals and everything, I don't think Mishki has played in a event since that. So to think that Bastion essentially retired Mishki after quite a mercenary non-V, that's just heartbreaking because Mishki is a great guy.
Yeah, he'll be back. I remember he said he was stepping away from the game, and like I tell everybody whenever they say they're stepping away from the game, I was like, all right, I'll see you in a couple years. He'll be here.
I did mention
don't sell your cards. You're gonna be back.
I did mention on the chat for the Euros this year, the Euro Championships does look like Emil is signed up, which is interesting. Nice. He hasn't played in a little bit competitively, so it'll be interesting to see him around.
It's funny because, like you just said, like people say they retire from the game. Emil is now signed up. Johnny Chu is playing in the retro event as well as in the All the Jedi leagues.
Yeah.
Like soon we'll have Johnny Chu back in an event. I can't think of anybody else who's really retired and everything, but like in the last few years. But it seems like we are getting back to those.
Matt Sokol said he was retired, and he came back about a year later.
Yep.
Yeah, not even a year later. Like he's been, he went to the NPC this year. Or am I wrong?
I don't remember if he did.
He was even in a local in like just a New York League event, the Coruscant League event as well. So I want to say he was in the GEM-PC too.
Yeah, a lot of people were in the GEM-PC. Like that thing was just insane. But so how is it after retiring as an advocate? Like I know a lot of people who retire as an advocate, they actually step away from the game. But you're one of those advocates who still is in the game. Do you enjoy it?
I guess I took like a kind of a break from the game. It's mostly I think COVID related. I'm not a big online player, so like I don't play on GEM very much. I don't play on GEM casually. So I got a new job, and it's been a great job. I really love it, and it's just taken up a lot more of my time. So I just made the decision. It was time for me to let someone else like Echo Base Trooper step in and kind of bring things to another place. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty clear up front whenever I retired that I wasn't leaving the game at all. I don't ever plan on leaving the game. But
do you enjoy the game more now that you're retired, essentially from an advocate?
Well, I would say I can't quite say that just because I haven't played as much. But huge kudos to Sean, who did all the legwork on the Pittsburgh leg this year. And it's been such a huge thing, I think, for our group because like obviously with COVID, people were away, and like we played online a little bit. Like Justin and Pat and Sean would play online still, but like Sean put this league together, and it's really helped me like get more excited about it again. And like we played in person a few months ago for the first event, and then he set up the All of the Jedi League for last month, which I played in and went 7-1, and it was like my first time playing on GEMP in a very long time. But it was just such a blast. And I think we're going to talk about All of the Jedi later, but
yeah,
I just loved it. It was so much fun, that format, like such a cool thing. And then of course I couldn't pass up playing in the PC20, like such a huge occasion. I was so excited about that.
And I was going to say, like, you played in the PC20 and you brought out two very interesting decks, but they're essentially like a Matt Carulli deck. You played Obi-Wan Communing, and you played Coruscant CRV, like a different variant from Tom.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like the closest estimation we could get to Tom's, and the reason I chose that deck was simply because probably like 7 or 8 years ago, pre-reset, I had played a Bring 'Em Before Me deck with 12 RS Things blasters and the drop and Entire Legion. So it was like totally right up my alley. I was like, I like drawing 9s. Like I could do this. And I went into it like, yeah, right? It's so much fun. Try it if you haven't. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
I went into the PC20 and I played like one like very brief practice game with the deck against my brother, like literally like an hour before. And I had no idea how to play the deck. And so like I'm such an aggressive player. So like I went into like game 1 and game 2 with that dark side deck, and they put a character out, and I was like, why would I not battle this character? Like there's someone there, I can kill them. Like, and obviously like that's not how Tom plays the deck, and it's not how Tom has gone, I think, undefeated with that deck. And so like my style
27-0, I think, over the most recent.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
That's nuts. So like it took me a few games, and then I was like, oh, I need to draw more cards. I need to keep drawing. And I won my last game, I think largely because I just kept drawing. But I gravitated towards that just because I love the RS Thing stuff, and I thought it'd be a natural transition, but it's definitely different than playing it and bringing.
It's definitely so nasty when your General Obi-Wan gets choked by Choked Vader, and you're like, oh wow, did not see that coming,
Yeah, no, it's a really cool deck, and like I realized once I drew more, I could track the 7s, and I was like, okay, well this is actually working.
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
then,
but let's talk about your deck. This Obi-Wan Communing deck that I haven't seen really anybody play Obi-Wan Communing since like the last Jawa event.
Yeah.
But then you play it for your main deck in this PC20 event, where literally like it's either like you want to play the Skywalker Saga, you want to play Obi-Wan or Yoda Communing, or Qui-Gon Communing, or all these other like tier 1 decks that everybody's been playing. And here you play this little Obi-Wan deck. Like, why did you go with this deck in particular? And what made you go with the deck, and what brought the idea to play this deck?
So the first thing is that I didn't enter in the PC20 to like play the tier 1 deck and like try to go 5-1 or 6-0. Like I was having fun. That said, like that's definitely a deck that I thought like, I could probably go 3-0 with this. Mm-hmm. I went 2-1 with it, but the Pittsburgh team, as we were driving down to Worlds last fall, we were just talking about like different stuff, and I didn't really know a lot of the cards at that time. I was still kind of like casually playing whenever I could, but we started talking about rocks and Obi Communing, and I'm thinking like, okay, like I can add 3 or 5 to my power with this, I can subtract 3 from their power with this, and I can add 5 to my power with aim high, and then I can just double the battle damage. And I was like, this seems amazing. Like, why wouldn't I do this? And we talked about it for a while, and we just didn't have time to build it for that event. Otherwise, we probably would have. And so I had thrown together a few drafts of the list, and had it kind of in my back pocket for the last few months. And then we played our first Pittsburgh event, like the local we did for League 1. And I put it together there. I didn't really share the exact list with anybody. And my brother was playing Shadow Collective, and everyone was talking about how great Shadow Collective was. And like, it's like, you can't lose. It's such a good deck. And I'd never seen it. I didn't know what half the cards that Shadow Collective did. And my brother knew generally what I was doing with mine. And then it got down to the end, and he was beating me. And I had literally like the exact number of cards that I needed in hand and life force. He had, I think, Sheezer and Rook with a blaster and Dengar with Blaster, and a few other guys, like knew one other guy to sight. And I had exactly enough to come down with Chewie Enraged, Solo, a rock, 2 rocks probably, a Life Debt, a Wookiee Strangle, and the Battle Damage Tripler. And I ended the game in 1 turn. I had already grabbed 2 of his Gicks. Because rule number 1 when you're playing any of my decks is to always grab the Gick.
Yeah.
If you don't grab the Gick, you're not going to win the game, because that's not how my deck's going to win. And he was just like, he was kind of dumbfounded. I think I overflowed him by 63 that battle. And he just like, because I literally was precisely the number of Life Force and everything that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
It just worked out perfectly. I got kind of lucky in that one.
Yep.
So I made a few changes to it for the PC 20 event. But like the Wookiee Strangle was like something that was just really funny.
Yeah, that's nasty.
You were streaming that game, I think, James, right?
Yes, I got your six games on the PC's YouTube page. It's linked there.
I thoroughly enjoyed when you were
great.
streaming that, and you're like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah.
Chewie against Vader and Boba Fett. I was like, this is great. I love this. Like,
Yep.
I was rewatching that stream. I was like, man, that's why I played it. You know, like to get
I'm gonna have
like
to
people to
watch
look
that.
at like, what the heck is happening here?
It was really well constructed, you know. I mean, the whole idea is the I've got a bad feeling about this, which unfortunately is canceled. Bad feeling have I, but that doubles the battle damage. But you have to like initiate a battle where you have less power, so you have to find ways to. You know, obviously the OB communing helps, the aim high helps, the rocks help, and then you've got also people that add destiny to power with Hog, you know, the new General Han, that's a resistance agent, and the underused on ground at least Luke Rebellion's hope for destiny to power.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a lot of ways you can quickly get that power up to a spot where you overflow for 97, which is great, you know.
97.5.
Yeah, 97.5.
Don't
In
forget
the
that
words
0.5.
of Steven Squirlock, he was like, dang. So really great
I
to chat.
swear, he was slow rolling that Gick, you know? Like, he paused
Yeah.
for a minute after forfeiting everything to make me, like, enjoy it for a second. And then he was just like, okay, yeah, I got the Gick.
Yeah,
That's
and I remember my commentary would be like, oh man, you know, what's a way that he could possibly win this? It's like take Gig back in the hand with no escape is like one of the things he has to do. So
I didn't have any force to grab it.
yeah,
That's why I lost that game. I didn't
yeah.
grab the Gick.
Yeah, I noticed that, like, you know, I kind of caught after like one battle where Leia was left, and you're kind of choked for force where you couldn't even use the Obi-Wan communing power bonus, I think, a couple times. But yep, really crazy, and it was certainly a fun game between the two.
It was a lot of fun, that game.
Yep.
Even though I lost that one, that was my only loss with the deck. But like when he had like a Walker and Tarkin and 2 Imperials and Aras thing there, and I had just Leia. And I played like 2 or 3 characters, and then it ended up at 97 battle damage. It's pretty sweet.
That's insane.
And as we'll talk about later, you had your trademark card, which was Light Side Stun Blaster. You
That's
know,
correct. And my
So,
Stun Blaster
all good.
actually missed. Sabine
Yes.
missed with the Stun Blaster that guy.
How? But let's talk about that a
I drew a
little. We'll
1.
talk a little bit about that later. But that's insane.
Just the thing, I drew a 1. Had I drawn, I think I needed a 3. No, I think I needed a 2 to bounce our thing back. That battle damage probably would have been like over 110. Had that Stun
it was
Blaster.
actually a better move that she missed because it hit the lost pile and they couldn't redeploy. But yes,
Yeah, true. Actually, I want to talk about the game right before that, which I don't believe went on stream because I was at a bottom table and I don't think anyone had joined my stream in time to catch this. But my game 2, I had a God draw with that deck, with those rocks. It was literally every card I needed. And my opponent was playing Watto. And turn 2, they had Watto and Emperor and I want to say Captain Kurgi at the junkyard. And I ended the game on turn 2.
I think
Nice.
I remember that one. I think we looked into that one really quick during my stream, but that was honestly, even though that was like 5 days ago, it feels like an eternity to me.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like 60 overflow on the second turn, and he had no kick.
That's insane.
Yeah, and that was, you know, James, you were talking about getting less power than them. So like for me, I think his power there at the site was like 9, so I could only play 2 guys there. But I had Luke at the adjacent site. I had Run. Yeah, and I had
Because
the
he used
blaster.
interrupt.
So, yeah, the use interrupt, exactly. So I run Luke Run into the battle, and I had to shoot the blaster at Emperor just to get rid of his immunity so he couldn't Force Lightning me. And so I had like Luke, I had Sabine, I had 2 rocks, I had a stun blaster, I had the battle damage doubler, and it was like the exact perfect 8 cards I needed in my hand to start the game.
That's great.
It was pretty crazy.
So you mentioned this a little bit ago. You for the Pittsburgh event, you played all the Jedi, and like you said, you ended up winning the event, going 7-1. Well, first of all, congratulations on that. Second, what about all the Jedi did you like?
Oh my god, I loved everything about it. Like, it seriously, like the first thing that I noticed, obviously, is like everyone's going to talk about the cards that you play. Like, you're playing these weird cards. You're doing things you've never done before. Every one of my games almost had something that I had never seen happen before in a game. I've been playing for 25 years. My favorite things that happened during those 8 games were my opponent had played a counter assault on me, and I had Tauntaun Bones out. And they drew a 5, which meant I could deploy a character for free, and I played Yorua for 5 power extra.
Oh.
But he didn't get to draw for Yorua, but he added to my power. So I ended up like causing an extra 5 damage because of Tauntaun Bones, which really is a counter to surprise assault. So
that's great.
Another one, I have a very bad feeling about this. It was the one from Endor, where if opponent just initiated battle with more than double your power, you draw Destiny. If it's less than your highest ability character in the battle, you deploy a character for free. I pulled it off twice in all of the Jedi games, so that was really cool. I had some really good pulls too. Like everyone else in the league will tell you, like, oh, Matt just got lucky. Really good pulls.
Honestly, I was in the league as well. I don't remember facing you. I don't remember what you pulled exactly.
I think you avoided me. I think every time you saw that I was like 4-0, and you're like, I'm not playing that guy.
Well, to be fair though, we tried playing in the last round, but I had missed a game because I was getting ready for Endor.
You were out of games, yeah.
Yeah, but
I had like a Maul Young Apprentice, and then the Maul single bladed lightsaber. I had Kirkanos and Force Pike. I had an Emperor Palpatine to go with Kirkanos. I had the best card in all of the Jedi, Bubo. I mean, like...
Oh, he's so nasty.
Bubo's nuts. I mean, he ate everybody that whole week. So yeah, I love that, first of all. So you have all these weird cards. One of the last games I played, Sean had... he just kept stacking the Incinerator. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing at the Incinerator? Like, it's just one
that was a great one.
And then later in the game, he drops EV-99, 4 battle droids, low Sep, and he had like a 20 power there, which in all of the Jedi, like I can't mess with that. And I was facing down like a drain of 6, all from reserve deck, and I had a 14 card hand. So I was like, I don't know what am I going to do about this? But this kind of gets me into like the next thing I loved about all the Jedi is that you have to like figure out how to get out of these weird situations.
Yeah.
And so I ended up playing like 2 characters there. I have a very bad feeling about this, to get someone for free. And he overflowed me in the first battle for like 14. And I decided to just lose all cards from my hand, since I couldn't lose them to a drain from no step anyway. And I kept one guy there when I was holding on to my Hujiks. And peeling 14 from hand to save 2 drains of 6, like it paid off for me. I ended up winning that game by like 2 or 3. But it's like there's such weird situations, and you have to like figure out how to get out of them. But like it also, the format itself like really brought me back to playing like pre-objectives, because you have to activate like by drawing your locations. You need to like use your searches of the reserve deck very carefully to like see what's in there and figure out what's in your force pile and draw the cards you need. You need to know when to save. Like it was a lot more of the resource management stuff that I love. And I just thought it was a blast to play, and it was like a really good exercise to kind of like, exercise those muscles again. Because now we're just like, use pile pool, get all the cards I need, pull all my sites. It's a lot different right now. So it's just, I thought the change of pace was great. I loved it.
And I was like, with the sealed leaks, the download of the battlegrounds kind of just like accelerates the interactivity of the deck. So
really good rule. Do you guys know when that rule was introduced? I was talking to someone about this. We weren't sure if that was introduced by Decipher or if that was like a PC rule that was added for sealed events.
I honestly couldn't. I don't know. From like sealed events and everything, I knew that was just always there, or at least I felt like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something makes me think like the Endor like draft had that like as something that was added. But I don't think it was in the original OSTDs and the Jabba's Palace seal deck.
Maybe. I will say this, like, I feel like you're right. Like, All the Jedi is a great format, especially for, like, just working out your muscles and just getting back to that whole, the chess aspect of the game, just, like, not knowing anything. But as you can get really screwed with All the Jedi.
Sure,
Like,
yeah, I believe it.
Really bad. I will say this, though. It was kind of funny because with All the Jedi, in round 1, I ended up getting Rendezvous Point and the hidden base objective. I wish I would have played this at least against somebody once. And then in the second one, after we got the new packs and everything, I was able to get my second system. So I feel like I should have played hidden base just because it would
I thought you were playing hidden base. You didn't play it at all?
No. My light side was just too strong as it was.
Yeah.
But
I had trouble getting starships. Like my first round of packs, I got 2 starships. I think I got like an unpiloted X-wing and an unpiloted Y-wing. I think that was it.
Yeah.
One of my things that I love about Star Wars CCG is you have like these random guys that are walking the streets of Tatooine, and the Empire is like, we need you to pilot our Star Destroyer because we need to draw Battle Destiny here. Okay.
Yep.
It's an interesting like thematic way to look at it. Like they're all being drafted into service by the Empire.
Yep.
But really quick, let's go ahead and talk about some open and everything. Right now, like I said, the May OCS has started. We're 4 days in, which means that Timo Dusel is currently finished with all of his 12 games for the May OCS. He's currently 7-5. Right behind him is Greg Shaw at 6-2, and then Kyle Kruger at 5-3. Watch out for just looking at the scoreboard and everything. Really quick, Daniel Moore is sitting at 4-1. So outside of that, nobody. It's still early, so make sure you get your 12 games in if you want to get at least a foil. And then the retro event is still going on, and we talked about a little bit about him earlier, but Johnny Chu is sitting in first place, followed by Justin Desai and then Casey Anus. So looks like they're sitting pretty good for that.
Just cool stuff. Hondo Onaka AI is something people have been asking for a lot. Is your foil for the OCS this year, and then or for this month, and then for the retro event, you get the battle order effect to shield slips for full participation there.
Oh, speaking of prizes and everything, really quick, our good sheriff of Gemp today has said that because today is May the 4th, all viewers of Holotheatre, if you message him, will get some special Gemp prizes. So if you're watching, make sure you message Batmouse to say that you were watching. So message him with the... You know what? You're also going to mention him your token as well. So your token card for today in honor of Matt Carulli is going to be Stun Blaster. So your token card. So message Batmouse saying that you watched today's episode, and you'll get some prizes from him. Your token card is forum, Slack, text message, pigeon. Any way you want to get something to Batmouse, make sure you get it out to him.
Make sure you got your case-sensitive ID for Gemp here. So
yeah. And then looking at the cumulative Marco Polo. I don't think Batmouse has Marco Polo, but I mean, you can always talk to Paul Myers on that if you really want to. Looking really quick is our cumulative standings for the OCS. At-large bids right now. Bastion made it, so Ryan Searson and Drew are both sitting at 22-2. So they are in good position to get into the OCS. Right behind them are Joe Olson, Matthew Harrison Trainer, and then Connor Britton. So make sure you... so good job on those guys. We've already had Justin Desai, Bill Kafer, Bastion, and CryptoFist get in. The token is going to be for the sticker book. And then the PC 20 tournament from a couple days ago, we will have the finals. Looks like it's going to be this Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. So make sure you guys watch that. It's going to be
both games.
Yeah, it's going to be Tom Struthers versus Mike Kessling. I'm not sure who's going to be picking first. I think it's going to come down to
rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors. Maybe the SOS of Sabak. I mean, why not? It almost determined the top 8 worlds a couple of years ago.
So are you guys going to be streaming that here?
We will be streaming it on the PC channel.
Taco says it's SOS from the tournament, which I think they would know by now. So
Yeah.
maybe he'll post in here and let us know who's got pick.
I know Tom had an SOS of 40, so that's pretty solid, but we'll see how it happens. Okay, Tom's going to pick it because he's got a higher SOS. So, again, that's going to be this Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Okay, and really quick, we're gonna, instead of swing and a miss today, we're going to get into 5 good minutes. So I'll set a timer for that. And we'll talk about some stuff. So the first things first, let's talk a little bit about... Oh, wrong tab. So, we brought this up before. Stun Blaster. Who do you guys think is better? Sabine or Jodacast?
Sabine, easily. It's not even a question.
Who?
Sabine can use 2 of them, or she can use 1 and a rock. So I don't know why you would take Jodacast over that. She's a higher power as well, but her text is sweet, like making them lose 2 when you win battles. Yeah, no, I think that's an easy one for me.
Look, I get that her deploy forfeit ratio is great. The 2 blasters is wonderful, and she's a pilot. But let's go with the original guy. I mean, like, how many times have you seen Sabine in a top loader? Like, it doesn't happen because you can't get a foil Sabine, you know? You're going to get a foil Jodacast. Cancels the Destiny.
You can get a foil
yes,
Sabine.
I get that you can pull Sabine with Mandalorian Mishap V, but Jodacast has got the hidden armaments, the hidden weapons, and I'll dare say I'll venture into any methods necessary V, which can move a weapon to use pile that was targeting him. So I like the fact that you can get blasters on him with Shadow Collective too. And the Cancel Destiny is something that always seems to come in handy in the right time. So I'll go with the original. The other one is just a cheap plagiarization, you know?
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to go with Sabine just because her armor looks prettier. It really does. Like, I like the image on her better, and Jodacast is just a Boba Fett knockoff.
It's a true story.
And Sabine can wield the Darksaber. Jodacast can only fire guns. And last time I checked, lightsabers were better than guns. Okay, what would you do to make Rock better?
Nothing. It's perfect. I don't know why people don't play rocks. Play rocks all the time, people.
I love that answer. I think they're pretty good, but something makes me think that like you should be able to get rocks really easily. So like, let's say like a stone pile V that like you could deploy to the table and like pull some rocks out of your deck to deploy in your people, you know, or maybe find a way to deploy them from lost pile by losing some force. Something like that might be kind of cool to look into. I mean, like we got that beautiful card from Dagobah that's Destiny 2. It's already in effect. You know, throw a V card on it, let's go. You know, yeah. Stone pile. This makes a lot of sense. You know, you find a way to either recur stones or maybe get them out faster that way.
We need to have an Ewok weapon, like a slingshot or something. We need more Ewok weapons, like a giant log that can destroy an ATST. Or, like I said, a slingshot. I mean, we have bow. Why not a slingshot to fire, to shoot the rocks? But the only way to make Rock better is to make it so that we can have the Holotheatre image of Holotheatre here image of Scott
McGrill. Yes.
On Gemp. That's the only way to make it better.
That was also in my talking notes. I seem to have missed it though.
All the Jedi. We talked a little bit about it. Like, you guys happy with it? You guys want to keep it around? Just generalized thoughts.
No, I talked about it earlier. I love it. I think it's an awesome format. I might play it more often. I think everyone should. It's a great format. And don't just like draft it and then not like your deck and not play. Because like I didn't think my Lightsaber deck was any good. And you just do all this weird stuff and you just have fun with it. It's great. I hope it stays here forever.
It's a great way to learn the cards if you haven't been accustomed to the Decipher era. You get tons of packs. Really, at the end of the day, with the other sealed decks, you get a little bit more, like 100 cards or something like that. But you get tons of cards in all
Keep
of the Jedi.
the cards.
It's really,
We need to keep
yeah,
the cards.
you
That's
just-
the biggest thing.
yeah, it's there's just so many mechanics that you get to learn and use and see for the first time. I think it's really useful. Maybe one of these
Yeah.
days we can even throw V cards in there. It's like
Nah.
some other overdrive all the Jedi, but I think people
I
love
would
it
like
and
to
like
see-
yeah.
I'd like to see Jedi packs added because like you
Yes.
have so many of these cards that are like, do this if you have Han or Luke, but you don't draw Han or Luke. And then at least with like Jedi pack and like the 2-player like
Mhm.
decks, you
Yeah.
get these like blank
Yeah.
main characters who we've never wanted to use before, but like they actually might have a home in all these.
Yeah,
Jedi.
I can see
Yeah.
that. Okay, we got a final confrontation coming up Saturday. Who do you guys like? Really quick, just look. So again, these players are going to be playing the same decks. They can make 5-card changes to them. Yeah, who do you guys like in this?
I'll go
I
first.
like Tom in it.
Okay.
Sorry, James. I
No, go
like
for it.
Tom. I was looking at his decks earlier. And
Time
they're
up.
just totally my
Last
style.
topic.
They're just like very, very like battle oriented. Dan, you were telling me earlier you thought that it was a good matchup. I like Tom's matchup, and I'm very curious to see like the 5-card changes they each make.
I mean, Tom's 27-0 with the Dark Side
Mhm.
deck, and just about everybody knew going into this tournament that was something that they had to account for, and they couldn't do it. So, I mean, I feel like I've said this in a couple Holotheaters that Kessling has been on an amazing run where, he's come in top 8s, top 2s, top 4s. I really should pick him at some point, but for some reason I just can't quite do it this time
Oof.
around. So I hope he makes me eat my words. They're both great guys. I'm really excited for this
Yeah.
matchup. I'll be watching on Saturday. But picking one of the two, I'll go with Tom for now.
Okay, I'm going to go with Tom as well. I know Tom is probably going to take out Maul's strikes. I mean, you're not going to need those in the cards. Like there's no Jedi, so you can take those Destiny 5s out. Take those out and put in some more Arsing blaster rifles.
He only had 5 in.
He only had 5 in,
I mean,
and yet he was still drawing them like it was nuts.
so cool.
And then looking at like their list and everything, 2-run Luke runs in his Qui-Gon commuting. Like it's a Destiny 6 card that he loves. 2 Skywalkers that it cancels barrier. You get extra Destinies with Leia. He runs Rey all the Jedi, so he's got all the Jedi he needs. But I mean, and he's running the new Anakin Jedi Knight, which is an insane card. But at the same time, Mike knows map and OA. I think it's going to be a really good match.
Mhm.
But like if Tom can go Luke the Last Jedi really early to Jakku, it's going to really disrupt what Mike does. But it's going to be a really interesting match. I'm going to go with Tom. Okay, Mike. Okay, so that was all for 5 good minutes, and I think it's time we do a deck building challenge, or not a deck building challenge, a lore challenge for our good friend Matt. So again, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the lore. I will show the lore on the screen as well, and then I will read it to you. You will have the choice of set or type of card, and then you can get a lifeline from somebody in the chat, and you'll have 30 seconds to give me what you think the card is.
Okay.
Are you ready, Matt?
I'm ready.
Okay, so your lore challenge is the destruction of a command vehicle negatively impacts Imperial battle efficiency.
Can I get a set?
Endor. Okay, so would you like somebody in the chat, or would you like James?
Can I get you to repeat the lore?
The lore is the destruction of a command vehicle negatively impacts Imperial battle efficiency.
Okay. I think I have a good idea. I'm
Okay.
going to use James for my lifeline.
Okay, 30 seconds
Sure.
starts now.
Don't call Joe Olson on this one. I believe it is aim high.
I don't think it's aim high. I think I'm picturing the card with the ATSD getting smashed by the 2 logs. I can't remember the name of that one right now. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Ewok Logjam? Is that
No,
one?
it's not
5,
Logjam, I don't think.
4, 3.
Maybe it is. I'm going to go with that one.
Okay, time's up.
I'm going to go with Ewok Logjam.
Final answer.
Yeah, sure.
Listen to James. It was aim high.
No way.
Yep, 100%.
See, all I care about in that card is that power +5. That's it. Everything else.
Dan's usually sneaky and plays a card that was on your table during the tournament. So
Mhm.
I should have known.
Yeah, aim high, 100%. I had to.
Well done, James. That was a good call.
Yeah. Why don't people listen to James more? He's not just a Twitter expert. Okay, everybody. But again, I want to thank again, we talked a little bit about the Jawa Cup and everything with the Jawa bands and everything. So make sure those get posted onto the forum so people will realize what the bands are and everything. So again, I want to thank Kendall for coming on. Darth Kendall, or Darth Korn at this point. I mean, he's not just a smuggler. He's also a Sith Jawa. And I also want to thank Matt Curley, our special guest of the day, and James Martin for coming on as our co-host. Again, Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, is going to be the finals versus Tom Struther and Mike Kessling. I'll be doing commentary with Jeremy DePaulo. So everybody, I'll see everybody then. Next week, whether he wins or lose, we're going to have Tom Struthers on Holotheatre, so make sure you guys tune into that one as he talks about why a Destiny 9 card is better than a Destiny 6 card. So until then, everybody take care and enjoy your week, and happy May the 4th. Night, everybody.
May the 4th be with you.
Thanks for having me, guys.